registration code AES012132, name Chithuni Wanasinghe, school Asian Grammar School, script number 5. Good morning and welcome to the morning telecast of ABC News. Let us begin with the news in detail. In foreign news, President-elect Joe Biden on Wednesday promised a group of workers hit by the raging COVID-19 pandemic that more aid would be on the way, while President Donald Trump hinted that he may be ready to begin planning another run for the White House in 2024. Biden, who has pledged to act quickly to provide more resources to fight the health crisis after he's inaugurated on January 20th, told a group of workers and business owners that any emergency aid approved by Congress before he takes office would only be a down payment. Republicans and Democrats are trying to resolve a months-long standoff in Congress over a stimulus package for businesses affected by coronavirus shutdowns, as well as the millions who have lost jobs. More than 270,000 people in the United States have died of COVID-19, which is resurgent across the country. Trump has refused to concede the November 3rd election, and his lawyers continue to file legal challenges to the outcome, alleging electoral fraud without providing evidence. State and federal election officials have repeatedly said there is no such evidence. Most of the lawsuits have been rejected by judges. At a White House holiday reception on Tuesday night, Trump appeared to acknowledge that his legal efforts could fail, and in that case, he would run again. A familiar source with the internal debate says Trump has been discussing with advisors not attending the inauguration ceremony on January 20th, but instead announcing his 2024 bid that day. Only a handful of outgoing US presidents have chosen to miss the swearing-in of their successors. In local news, Sri Lanka's Prime Minister, who oversaw a brutal end to a decades-long conflict with Tamil separatists, said on Wednesday the country was withdrawing from a United Nations resolution investigating alleged war crimes. Prime Minister Mahinda said the government would no longer abide by a 2015 resolution calling for accountability for alleged excesses carried out by Sri Lankan troops and reparations for victims. Sri Lanka co-sponsored the resolution at the United Nations Human Rights Council along with 11 other countries, calling for the investigation of allegations of wartime atrocities by both government forces and the Tamil Tiger rebels, who were fighting for a separate homeland for Sri Lanka's ethnic Tamil minority. Mahinda's announcement comes days after the US State Department imposed a travel ban on Sri Lanka's army commander Shavendra Silva and his family over alleged human rights violations in the final stages of the civil war in 2009. He said Washington's recent decision to ban the army chief was because Colombo had signed up to the resolution. Before winning presidency, Gotabaya had pledged he would not honor the previous government's commitments to the UN. According to a 2015 report by the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Silva had been tasked with freeing Putumattalan, one of the last strongholds of the now defeated Tamil Tiger rebels. The investigation cited witnesses as saying the army unit he was leading shelled a hospital and a UN hub. And that concludes the morning telecast of ABC News. I am Chithuni Wanasinghe. Have a good day. In J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy writings, Isengard is a large fortress in Nan Curunir, the Wizard's Vale in the west of Middle-earth. It is supposedly a translation of Agranost in the Elvish language Sindarin, in reality from Old English meaning iron enclosure. The Númenóreans in exile built Isengard in the Second Age as a walled circular enclosure with the Tower of Orthanc at its centre. It lay just outside the northwestern corner of Rohan, guarding the fords of Isen from enemy incursions into Calenorden together with the fortress of Aglarond to its south. Orthanc, the tower at the centre of Isengard, was at the time of the Lord of the Rings the home of the wizard Saruman. He had been ensnared by the Dark Lord Sauron through the tower's palantir, a far-seeing crystal ball able to communicate with others like it. Saruman had bred orcs in Isengard in imitation of Sauron's forces ready for war with Rohan. The orcs cut many trees of the forest of the Ents, who retaliated by destroying Isengard while the army of orcs was away attacking Rohan at Helm's Deep, though they were unable to harm the Tower of Orthanc. Saruman, isolated in the tower, was visited by some of the Fellowship, and his staff was broken by the wizard Gandalf. Isengard has been described by scholars as an industrial hell and as illustrating the homogeneity of evil, in contrast to the evident diversity of the free societies of Middle-earth, including those of elves, dwarves, and Gondor. It has been compared to Vichy France and its proposed governor on behalf of Mordor, the mouth of Sauron, to a traitorous quisling. I am now reporting live from Argentinian Presidential Palace, where the coffin carrying the football legend Diego Maradona has been placed for public viewing. Diego Maradona passed away on the 25th of November at the age of 60, and a 3-day mourning period was announced to allow his fans to pay his last respects. However, as you can see, these are the last of Maradona's fans being dispersed by the police after a full-fledged riot broke out between the police and the fans who had gathered in front of the Argentinian Presidential Palace. The cause for the riot was the fact that the family of Diego Maradona decided to move the funeral forward and thereby shortening the amount of time given to his fans to pay their last respects. It has been a truly unfortunate and grief-stricken time for Argentina with the passing of the beloved football legend Diego Maradona and the unrest caused by his fans added to the issue. That is all the updates we have for you now. We shall be back with the latest updates. Until then, this is news correspondent for ABC News, Chithuni Wanasinghe, reporting live from the Argentinian Presidential Palace.